All right, guys, what is up? It's BP Hero checking in here with a video that I know you guys have been waiting on. I did jump the gun on my teaser just a little bit. I'd planned on having this stuff done just shortly after I got the little teaser posted, and I just, got busy with the holidays and everything else. Life, man, it's just how it goes. But we're here right now, and we're going to discuss what I think were some of the best bats from 2017. I am only going to do the U-Trip bats today. I'm going to save the ASA ones for their own video. I thought about putting them all in one video, but I decided to do otherwise for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't want to make one great big long video if maybe somebody only wanted to see, the ASA bats or the U-Trip bats, and they'd have to, sit down and thumb through it and try to figure out, where it starts and ends, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that I wanted to do them in two separate videos. For the new subscribers, the new viewers that may find the channel, they may just be interested in one thing or the other. It'd just be easier for everybody. So that's what I'm going to do. Doing the U-Trip today, and the ASA one will be up. It's Wednesday. I'm going to say by Saturday or Sunday. Don't quote me on that. I'm a busy man when this camera's not on. I do want to make a quick disclaimer, though. This is my opinion that I concluded from my rounds of batting practice with the bats that are on this list. There's no radars, there's no testers, there's no spreadsheets or formulas or numbers. Other people enjoy that, and it does bring a different aspect to the reviews, especially if you're a numbers guy. But there's way too many variables in that stuff for me to trust that information fully, which is exactly why I don't get too worked up over the videos that I do with any of the radar numbers or anything. It's all subjective. Way too many variables to really take that stuff to heart. There is no exclusives on this list. I did exclusives last year, but I didn't this year. There was so many from so many different companies. I mean, they're all, production bats. They have their subtle differences, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing as what's going to be on this list. Another thing I will say is what works for me as far as these bats may not work for you either. This is just my opinion and what I've concluded from what I've done here. Every person is different, and each bat will do different things in their hands than it would in mine. I do want to make that known right now. So if you're a balanced guy, don't think you've got to go out and buy, an in-loaded bat if an in-loaded bat finishes higher than, say, the balanced bat that you have now. Vice versa. But I'm done rambling. We're just going to jump straight into this list. Starting off at number 5, we have the Easton Bryson Baker Flex. I know I started with the balanced bat, and if you know me at all, I'm not a big-time balanced fan, but this bat just felt right to me. This Easton Flex technology has really put them back on the map. Very minimal break-in compared to the old stuff. 150 to 200 swings with some classic M's, and you've got yourself a rocket launcher. My only complaint with them is how stiff they are. The Baker has the big 13.5-inch barrel, so while stiff, it was still very forgiving in terms of feedback. If you're in the market for a U-Trip balance bat, this thing is the cat's meow, in my opinion. Moving into number 4, we have the Mikan Freak Platinum Max Load. I was a huge fan of the D2E Psycho from a couple of years ago and the Green Psycho from last year. This bat reminded me very much of those two with just a little bit less inload. And for those wondering, I went with this over the DC-41 just because I felt the inload on the Freak Platinum was a little more pronounced, even though it was technically only half an ounce. An explosive barrel with a huge sweet spot from very early on made this an easy pick for a big barrel inload to have in the bag. For number 3 on my best of 2017 bat list, I went with the Pure Integrity. I know this comes as a shock to some people, judging by the quality issues that we saw in the review that I did of this bat. The owner of this company was bold enough to reach out to me to assure the issues had been resolved, and even contacted the owner of the bat and offered to resolve the issues as well. They have made big improvements in their quality and really have that company headed in the right direction. For their first year on the U-Trip market, they had one heck of a year. This thing was a rocket launcher from the word go. 52s, 44s, it didn't matter. Crushed them all. If this bat was giving the BP Hero baseball field power, that's something you got to pay attention to. Coming in at runner-up, we have the Worth Legit XL Reload, also known as the Watermelon. This bat reminded me very much of the EST XL from earlier in the year, but coming in half-ounce increments meant a little bit more inload, which was good for me. Pea shooter from swing one, no doubt about it with this thing. Impossible to miss sweet spot on the 13.5-inch barrel. Combine all that with one of the smoothest swinging bats that I've had in my hands all year long, and this thing had no problem getting to the number 2 spot for me. Now, real quick, before we get into number 1, I did some honorable mentions last year, and I wanted to go ahead and do those again this year too. First up for that, we have the DeMarini New Breed. Early in the year, a lot of people were comparing these to the Freak 30, saying they're just as good, maybe even better than a Freak 30. I kindly disagree with that statement, but I will say that this is the best U-Trip DeMarini that I've swung since the pink and silver CL22 that I believe came from 2014. This bat did start slow, but it got hotter with almost every swing. My main complaint with this that kept it off the list was the alloy handle was a little bit tight for my liking, and the sweet spot was a little bit on the smaller side. The two combined just made for a not so pleasurable experience for me, unless you hit it absolutely on the screws. But if you did, the performance was excellent, no doubt about that. The other bat that earned at least mentioning to me was the Easton Helmer Flex. Pretty much in the same exact boat as the New Breed in terms of a small sweet spot and a little bit of an unforgiving barrel. But if you can effectively use it, then you'll have one of the best performers out there. As I mentioned earlier, with the Baker Flex, 2017 has been a great year for Easton. This Flex technology really got them back into the game. They've had another year to work with this Flex technology, so I can't wait to see what it'll be about in 2018. And along with their double barrel technology that'll be coming up for ASA, I look for Easton to have a really good year in 2018. All right, guys, for number 1 on the BP Heroes Best of Bat list, I'm sure many probably guessed it, it is the Mikan Freak 30. Love it or hate it, there's no denying that Mikan has their short barrel game on point with these bats. The Freak 12 from 2015, the Freak 30 from 2016, and again with this year's Freak 30. I could go on and on and on about how great these bats are, but just about everyone under the sun already knows. No need to talk it up any more than it already has been. For those wondering, I did decide to go with this over the PT12 alloy, which is basically the same thing with an alloy handle. I did go with this one over that based on the fact that I don't like a ton of feedback from a bat, and the PT12 alloy was just a slight bit on the unforgiving side. It had the same barrel, just a different handle for those guys who prefer a stiffer feel. I also went with this over the Folk, which was a no-brainer for me as well. The Folk was plenty hot and probably should have been on this list somewhere, but there was just something that I couldn't pinpoint about it that didn't sit well with me. Incredible performer, just not my cup of tea in terms of loading and feedback. Send a truckload of Freak 30s to this guy's house, and he can die a happy man. Bottom line. All right, guys, so there you have it. Mine opinion, that means what I think. It's not what's right or wrong. It's not live or die by, because people are going to disagree with this, and quite frankly, I don't care. This is how I felt about the bats that I swung, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and I enjoy doing all of these reviews for you guys, so you guys can check these bats out. I do want to thank everyone that's been a part of these videos, whether it's been subscribers sending me bats, softball fans, definitely Evil Sports for sending me all these softballs, anyone and everyone that has helped me out with these rounds of BP so I can get this stuff done for you guys. That includes Gabe and Dalton and Brian. Even my wife came out and pitched a few rounds to me this year. Thanks to you guys for helping me out with all of this stuff. We couldn't do it without you. I will answer questions and comments down below or wherever this is posted. So if you have anything to say, positive, negative, if you like the video, thank you very much. If you dislike the video, let me know why. But that's it for this one, guys. I really appreciate you watching this. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I loved making it. ASA video coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Until then, subscribe to the channel. All kinds of good stuff on there and always more coming. You can also like this video, share it around with your buddies that have all been waiting on this, maybe just wanting to know, what should they get as far as 2017s go. Now you got a good idea where to start. You can also comment wherever I've got this posted with anything you got to say or any questions or comments or anything like that. And I'll definitely get back to you guys. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll see you soon.